So look, these are the break points. You got to have a good idea. You got to get through the startup phase. 3 to 4 employees, making 18 to 25%. Now you have a $25 million business. The next phase is role duplication. The only way you're going to duplicate is when people fail, you celebrate them. Otherwise, they're going to give up on you. You have to train, because the whole scalability is model, mimic, and master what you've proven works, and then multiply your people. Those are the 4 M's. And then as you get into process creation, to get to 8 million, you multiply the people, and they just keep doing what you're doing because you created process. They have the system, they understand it, because you have to start manually. You can't start with automation because it's going to be changing, and you got to figure out how to do it in your mind because you're the chief architect of your business. And if you hire somebody else to come do it, they'll engineer your business to whatever they think is the way to do it, and then you're going to find yourself sideways. Then when you get to 15 minutes, it's core leadership. It has to be 3 of you. You have to know how to do the business, because the who's need to model, mimic, and master what the 3 of you have proven works as one team. Then when you go to 25 million, it goes back to the who, because you got 7, on average, you're running your business on 17 different systems. About 5 of them are your employees' own systems that aren't putting stuff into your systems. It's a problem. So understanding the systems that you're running on and architecting, because now what you do is you go hire an operating team to try to pull data out of all these different systems to give you something that's actionable, but your operating team doesn't know what they're looking at. This is a big cycle, but by the time, if you happen to bust through, plus you're changing all of your accounting, you're bringing in a new accountant, you're bringing in more sophisticated people, you got a new CPA, and you realize you're paying everybody wrong, you're paying them on deposits because you have to convert to accrual, and you change your comp plan, and then your best top salespeople leave and go to work for a smaller business because I make more money working somewhere else. So you got to solve for these things. If you know there's 3 to 5 things that break a business in each category, you just start solving. Because if I hire you and you've never made more than 100 grand, and I show you how to make 90 and then 110 and 150 and 180, I don't need to spoil you and immediately take you to 400. I can go, okay, I'm going to feather in now as we're getting bigger. I'm going to start putting accrual. I'm going to start treating compensation like accrual. And I'll just miss the big 1-year jump, and I'll just keep working you into it. So by the time we get there, you didn't even feel it, because I knew at 10 million and 15 million and 20 million, I needed to make these micro adjustments in compensation. So when I hit that number, I'm not backwards getting rid of all my people because they're pissed at me or they leave. So we know what all the decisions failure looked like. What we want to do is what the people who succeeded look like. And as you're growing and scaling through this process, there's the 10 elements, from strategy to investment thesis. Now, the way it looks here, when you get to the top end of the breakpoint, go to the 360, expanded. 360 expanded, yeah, there you go. So look, it starts off, you actually need all these things that by the time you're 8 million, but you're gonna be an effective ratio on all of them. You're gonna be a 1 or 2, because you're gonna have to have mission, vision, and values. You need financials, you need certain things, but the complexity of your financials every time you get to the next breakpoint are gonna be entirely different. When you start expanding out at 25 and 45 and 55 and 65 million, the details of what you're looking at and the revenue lines and margins on each revenue, that's different than when you're 3 million and you got them all in one bucket. Nothing ever stops the way it was. It always improves to where it needs to be. And at each breakpoint, if it does not improve, you start looking at faulty data. By the time you're 50 to 75 million, you need a full systems integration, and it's gonna be the most painful thing you ever go through, and most entrepreneurs bail in the middle of it. They sell. Worst part, you'll go spend millions of dollars doing it and you'll get worn out, and these consultants will run off your loyal people telling you they don't know what they're doing because the consultants are trying to get bigger jobs with you, and you don't know who to believe and you don't know who to trust. Your loyal people leave. The consultants you realize were full of shit. Now you're all by yourself and you're trying to figure it out, so you sell. And you sell after you increased all your costs, so you get a lower valuation. The best place to sell in any break point is usually in the midpoint of a break point before you stretch to bust through it. Like, there are so many ways to engineer a business for high valuation. You should be tracking that every month, every quarter, every year. You should know, what are the valuations in our industry? How are businesses being bought? What are the value points? Because anywhere in these breakpoints, once you're over 15 million, trying to stretch from 15 to 25, it might be more valuable if you're like, hey, I want to sell in the next 2 years, just to move it to 20 and then stop stretching. And optimize the 20 so you get a bigger multiple. Like, you gotta know the game. And this is why you need a partner that knows the game. But most importantly, you got to engineer it, because you're not going to be able to do it intuitively.